Hey, Angela. Hey, thanks for showing up today, being my guest.
You're
Yeah,
welcome, Lucas. Glad to be here.
I'm going to introduce Angela as they had a number one independent agency in the world. Is that correct? The world?
It was the largest single office independent brokerage in the world. Yes.
Okay. And you quit all that to join the XP. Can you elaborate why and what's happened so far?
Absolutely. So here's a little bit of background. My husband and I have been in business together since 2001. So it's been a long time. And we've had the privilege of almost failing our first year. But we've also recovered. So we know how it feels to struggle in real estate. That's important to know for the rest of the story. But fortunately, we did turn things around. We were one of the top agents in the nation. We ran one of the top teams in the nation. And then we opened up a brokerage. And for 15 years, we grew it. We grew it to 906 agents out of one location. I'm actually sitting in it.
Oh,
And we used to close about 6,000 transactions a year. We had 906 agents, 2 billion in production. And then we met eXp Realty. So people thought we were absolutely nuts because we ended up, after a lot of prayer and a lot of angst, we ended up shutting down our brokerage. It was super successful. And so everyone thought that was like, they actually thought we had lost our mind.
right.
But there's some really good, succinct reasons why we did that. And I'll talk in terms of why we did that for the single agent, why we did that for the teams that worked for us, and then why we did it for ourselves as broker owners. So what we've learned after 15 years of coaching and mentoring thousands of agents is we really have a lot of industry problems. we have a lot of industry problems that affects both single agents, teams, and broker owners. And we really believed at Revelation Real Estate, that was the name of our brokerage, that we tried our best to solve as many of those obstacles and problems as possible, getting things out of the way that make agents stumble or team leaders stumble. But as an independent broker, on a traditional model, which every single company out there, by the way, is traditional model except for eXp that I know of, it was impossible. So let me tell you what I mean. Because when Chuck and I realized some of the things that eXp offers that solves those problems, we got to a point where we had to put our pride and ego to rest, because broker owners have pride and ego, right? We had to put our pride and ego to rest, and we had to make a decision that's best for all of the people involved. So let me talk about the single agent.
Okay.
What are some problems that single agents have? Okay, I'll give you one. We don't have health insurance.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have health insurance. That's not the main problem, but it is a problem for many agents out there. Well, eXp has health insurance. That's a simple example, but let me give you a bigger example. So when I work as a real estate agent, and let's say we used to close 40 million a year way back when we were selling full time. And that's a lot of real estate. That was over 300 homes in our market back then. And when it came January 1st, we got to start over. We didn't, we got to start all over. We didn't get this, residual effect unless we worked really, really well with our center of influence, which we did. But still, in essence, every day was restart. We went back to start at midnight. And a lot of agents, I will never forget Carol Gruber, who's an agent who's been with us forever, that made a move over to eXp with us. She said before we did, she goes, you know what? I'm so tired. Every single year I have to do all of this all over again. When do I get to stop? Right? Yeah. And how many people have been to real estate agents' retirement parties? They just really don't exist. And so this hamster wheel of production becomes really difficult. And most agents out in the traditional world think that the most logical thing to do to get out of that rat race is either start a team, which is helpful,
Yeah.
or start a brokerage. I know that Chuck and I started our brokerage, our team first, for leverage. That's my favorite word these days, leverage. Although what we found is, here's the problem with team leaders. The more people you add to your team, the more responsibility you are usually putting on your shoulders. And so there's some give and take there. And then, so we said, okay, broker owner, we'll own our company. Then we'll have leverage, right? But the larger our, so here's why I started it. And I'm jumping all over the place, Lucas, but I promise to tie it up. My husband and I started our brokerage because we love to help agents. It's like our passion to find somebody, figure out what their goals are in business, and help them to accomplish it. It just lights us up. So that's why we originally opened our brokerage. But guess what happened after 15 years and 906 agents? How much time was I spending? How much time was I spending pouring into the agent?
Not very much.
Nothing. No, I was a designated broker. I was hiring, I was firing, I was onboarding, I was offboarding, legal stuff, reviewing paperwork, answering broker questions. I got to do about this much of what I love, and all the managing staff.
Yeah.
Yikes. Somebody just had a conniption. They're like, managing staff. It was not what a lot of broker owners, team leaders think they're signing up for. It's a problem, right? So let's get back to the individual agent. They're on a hamster wheel. They can't get off. They try to start a team. Now they're on a different hamster wheel. It's still a hamster wheel. So I could go on and on about the problems. In fact, I could make you a list of comprehensively the problems. Let's give you one example for a team leader. I hire somebody. I pour my heart into them. I train them. I bring them up. One of three things happens. They become wildly successful, and they're like, thank you very much. I'm going to go start my own team. We want to celebrate, but they're leaving us. You know what I mean? Or number two, they are a complete life suck, right? They're a complete life suck. And maybe they do some businesses, maybe they don't, or they don't do any business at all. So they're like they literally just wasted your time. Those are terrible scenarios, right? Those are hard scenarios. Or I, as a team leader, try to provide all of this training, and then my production suffers because you only have so much time. So there's all of these things that happen in traditional business that we were keenly aware of as broker owners. And when we were introduced and fully understood the model of EXP, particularly the leverage, right? We could not deny it anymore. We could go on with our big egos and run our company and stay on the hamster wheel, or we could lay it down and say there's a better way to do business.
Right.
There's a better way for the agent. There's a better way for the team leader. There's a better way for me. And that's in essence what we did. I know I just said a whole bunch of stuff, but what kinds of things in that scenarios would you like me to discuss, like what we discovered when we came over, or what's going to be best, do you think, for your audience, Lucas?
Well, you have more free time now, right?
No, because I love to, I let me explain that, because that's a very good question. I don't have more free time because I love to work, right? I don't have more free time because I choose not to have more free time. I'll tell you what I have. I have three things. I'll tell you in a minute, actually. My days are full, just like they were before, but I'm full of joy because now this much of my time is me doing what I love to do. And this much of my time is the stuff that I just have to do that isn't as enjoyable for me. And the reason why that can be true is I am not the one reviewing paperwork. I'm not answering legal questions. I'm not doing all of the training. We get to share in that responsibility. All of the things that consumed my time before are either off-boarded to EXP or leveraged with my partners. So I'll give you an example of what I mean, just in case your audience isn't following me. When an agent joins EXP, they get the benefit of their group's expertise. Their group's value becomes their value. So now a team leader who used to be bogged down with every responsibility, if they're choosing wisely, they're leveraging what EXP has, they're leveraging what their partners have, and they're only doing the things that are their own superpowers. If they're smart, and I can help people be smart about it, So now you're doing the things that light you up, the things that you're the best at, and you're leaving the rest of it to other people, right? Or other parts of EXP. That's called leverage. And now, so I'll tell you the power of leverage. It took Chuck and I 15 years to get to 906 agents. 15 years. And it was extraordinary. That's really good. A lot of people would say that's amazing. It's taken us 3.5 years to get to over 8,000. That's a little bit different.
Yes, just
And I'm enjoying it. Yeah, I have time freedom. When I mean time freedom, the choice to use my time the way I want to instead of the way my circumstances seem to force me to, right? And number two, I have location freedom. I can do this business from more. I was just on a river cruise in Europe and in Italy for 2 weeks, and my business didn't shut down. That wasn't true when I was a broker owner. I wasn't true when I was a team leader or a real estate agent. And number three, I have financial freedom, which I think just about everyone would enjoy. So I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, what do you enjoy most now? I mean, you gave me all the time freedom and financial freedom. What are you putting your time into now? What kind of activities?
Okay, at work, I'm doing what God gifted me with in the beginning. Right. Finding out what agents want to achieve in their business, coming alongside them and helping them get there. Right? My husband in 2021 set out to make 10 people millionaires, and he made 8. He fell short by 2. But that's pretty good. You know, I love to business strategize. I love to help have agents in production. I love to help women build their business. Absolutely love it. I love people to build, or love to help people build organizations. We're builders. And now at work, that's where I get to spend the majority of my time is doing that. And then personally, it's interesting to know, my husband and I are business partners and best friends. We run 5 companies together. And we have not spent one day or one night apart since we started dating, except for 2 nights when he was in the hospital with COVID. Mm-hmm. So 21 years, and we get to do it. So we have dates every single day. My husband and I have dates, and my kids love it. And so I get to spend that time in a more joyful way while impacting far more people than I could right here in Chandler, Arizona.
So when you made the transfer from independent to EXP, did you find it difficult?
Hell yes, it was difficult. It was very difficult.
Was it difficult since EXP? Did EXP help you get transferred into it?
Of course, yes. EXP, of course, helped. Anytime you make a move, I don't care if you're an independent agent and you're making a move, a big team or a brokerage, there's inconvenience and there's discomfort and there's obstacles. But the thing is if you stay in a place just for the sake of avoiding change and some discomfort, you'll never get anywhere in life. Anything that's worth doing has difficulty, has obstacles, is uncomfortable. So we're really comfortable being uncomfortable. So that wasn't an issue for us because we believed that even if we shut this down, and it was really rough for a long time because we planned on losing $1 million the first year from the change. You know, we planned for that. It didn't end up happening, thank God, but we planned for that. We set our minds right. We understood it's going to be difficult and there's going to be obstacles, but let me tell you, it is so worth it to come onto the other side of it with a whole new view of your career, with all new opportunities, and locking arms with like-minded people, because that is the biggest takeaway that surprised me, is how many people at EXP that we could lock arms with that were big, growth-minded, incredibly positive thinkers.
Right. So how did I get one of the things I'm trying to understand is when I transferred over as a single agent, the process was easy for me. I mean, they kind of held my hand and said, "This is how you transfer from this agency to this agency." Mm-hmm. You're much bigger. So, what was the biggest thing they helped you overcome as far as the procedure to transfer over?
Well, to be honest with you, we actually helped them to develop that because we were the largest brokerage they ever brought over. So we
Okay.
helped them to develop the processes and procedures that broker owners and teams now get to enjoy a much smoother, much more methodical process.
Okay.
So, you know, I'm not afraid of difficulty. So I was a great guinea pig, right? And
All right.
so I just know that EXP has now approached the just like everything about it,
Right.
procedurally, administratively, even setting right expectations in agents' minds so they know what to expect. Because when you know what to expect, everything's easier, right? So they do all of that really well now, as
Well,
long as you involve and let the people at EXP to do their jobs and give them plenty of time to get organized. It's wonderful.
wow, that's a lot of, I'm glad you
I
guys,
know that's a lot.
we'll be processing that for a while. Um, I see you, well, so you opened a new nightclub?
Yes, we are opening up a nightclub. So one of the things that happened as a result of shifting our minds by going to EXP is this building. So we built this building that I'm sitting in. It's a 21,000 square foot office with an 8,000 square foot patio, and this was our real estate office. We built this building for Revelation Real Estate, and when we switched from doing that over to EXP, so many things became easier. You know, we aren't dependent. I like this physical location, but we aren't dependent on it anymore. And
Right.
so we had to reimagine what this building would be, which is a fun thing that we help teams and broker owners to imagine, where they say, well, what about my physical space? Believe me, you'll find out over time you don't need it as much, right?
Right.
So during the day, it's all business. But at night, we have a part of the building that's going to become a nightclub here in Chandler, Arizona. And there's a portion that is a venue, an event venue. You're looking at a bar
Yeah.
cafe behind me. So we just reimagined what the businesses could be within the building that still benefits the agents that work with us locally and all of the businesses that we're used to working with locally.
All right.
It's a little bit
Well,
different than
Angela,
real estate.
I know your time's very pressing at times. So I appreciate you taking this interview.
Absolutely.
I really had I got to know a whole lot more. Again, I appreciate also you taking the time to add to the process of EXP, because I guess time it got to me, I was like, you taught them all and they needed to know.
I
I
didn't.
thought,
I didn't teach them all.
because my process was very smooth.
That's
So,
awesome.
all right. Well, I hope you have a great day. You said you're in Arizona?
Yes, Chandler, Arizona.
I'm going to have to come visit.
Yes, absolutely. You're welcome.
All right. We'll see you another
Thank you,
day.
sir.
All right. Bye.